Thanksgiving is just around the corner, or if you're in the US, really it's been here since September if you ask all the local department stores. Here's some stuff that your DM actually wants, and I would know because a lot of this is on my own list. I'm not sponsored by any of these products, however, I may include links in the description, and those links may be affiliate links, so that means if you purchase that item, I get a small cut at no additional cost to you. Anyway, let's get to the list. For the DM that takes a long time prepping, you're gonna want to buy them. Actually, I have it. You're gonna want to buy them this book. This is Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master. It's a great book. It's a really short read. It's only about $20 and it'll drastically lower your DM's prep time. I actually have taken some tips from this and incorporated it into the design of my Dungeon Master's Guide to Adventure notebooks. So definitely highly recommend this one. For the homebrewer or the one-shot creator, any of the following books will be great resources for your DM, especially if they want to incorporate some unique things into their homebrew world or even just to spice up a module. The first one is the Griffin's Saddlebag. I actually own the first book, but there is also a second one that I backed on Kickstarter. There's thousands of items in here. You also get this handy dandy chart in the front that actually lists out all your items and categorizes them, so I thought that was super nice and easy to follow. Wizards take note. The first book is about $50. The second one hasn't been released as of when I was recording this video. However, they also offer things like physical cards, digital item imports for your virtual tabletop, and a Ledger Plus, which gives you everything in the book but online in a searchable format. The next three books are all by the same people. There's a Traps, Puzzles, and Dungeons one, a Random Encounters one, and a non-playable characters one. I don't own any of these, however, I've been looking at them and they've been on my list for a while. I like the idea of not having to homebrew everything, just the important things, and I also find official content lacking at times, and these would be a great supplement. They also don't cost a lot. Each one individually is around $20. So you can buy all three or buy just one or two. For the Dungeon Master that needs help organizing their notes, this one is a little bit of a self-promo. Get your DM a good note-taking system. Doesn't have to be mine, could be anything. But a good note-taking system will really help your DM create something great every session. So I developed a system myself that I think is pretty awesome that your DM might like as well. I've got this one. This is the all-encompassing Dungeon Master's Guide to Adventure. It's beautiful and it's got a little bit of everything. It can help you record everything from world building, NPCs, monsters, encounters, player details, story arc and timelines, and session notes, and just like everything. If your DM doesn't need the whole shebang, I actually have 3 other versions of this notebook. I have a lore keeper that just focuses on the world building and the NPCs. I have a scrivener, which is great for virtual DMs because a lot of times as a virtual DM I put some stuff in the actual tabletop to keep it all in one place. And all I really need to do is take session notes, and that's what the scrivener has been designed for. And then there's also the Battle Master, which offers a great place to track monsters, homebrew or otherwise, and encounters, including initiative and some of your player stats, like passive perceptions. For the virtual DM, buy them a subscription to the virtual tabletop that they use. I personally use Foundry for my virtual games. Sometimes I even use it for in-person games, depending on where we are. Foundry is a one-time payment of $50, which is super sweet, but there are pros and cons to Foundry. For instance, it is an individual developer, and there are also different modules that you can add to Foundry, which is great because you can customize anything. However, those modules can become out of date when the original software is updated, and it is up to the individual module creators to update it, so there are some disconnects and things at times. So Foundry has its pros and cons, but you could also gift them a subscription to Roll20, which is the one that most people use anyway. I personally find it a little bit more clunky, but If you're already using it, you could pay for their subscription for a year, which is about $50, unless they're using the pro version, and then in that case it's $100. So good luck finding that out. You can also gift them a subscription to D&D Beyond. I personally don't have this one on my list, but a master subscription, which is the tier that the DMs would need, allows them to make unlimited characters, homebrew content, and share all of their already purchased content with their players, which is something I know a lot of DMs wish they could do, but aren't really willing to commit to the subscription. So just another one you should consider. For the collector, this one's gonna be a bit more expensive. Also, you're gonna need to roll high on your stealth check to make sure they don't already have this if your DM is a collector. The D&D Art and Arcana set is beautiful. This collection offers a visual recording of all the different editions of D&D, as well as beautiful art and prints that are sure to wow your DM. For the in-person DM, all of these are on my list pretty much for me to run my in-person games. But the first one is condition rings. These will help your DM track things like stunned or blessed or paralyzed much easier because you can put it right on the token and you can see it. It's a visual reminder to the players and to your DM. I actually own the next one. It's a reusable dry erase mat. It is absolutely perfect for when your players decide they're going to attack someone you didn't expect them to. You just roll this out, pull out a dry erase marker, and wham, you've got a map drawn out. This has a range, but you can normally find it for around $20 to $30 on Amazon. This other one is one that's been on my list because I've been wanting to get into terrain for a while, but the first one is Dungeon Craft. This is paper terrain you can use at the table, and it looks super simple to use and throw together a map on the fly. It also offers great visual style, and it only costs about $50. There's also Module Dungeon, which is a more 3D-esque type terrain. Also looks really easy to use and snap together. Might take a little bit more time and planning for the DM. This one's gonna be a little bit more expensive depending on how many pieces you buy your DM, so anywhere from $50 to $200. But I think it would be a really nice step into the D&D terrain. Next is an initiative tracker, and I'm going to link two of them. One which has a freaking battle axe in the middle of it, so that's just freaking cool, and the one that I actually own, which I got on Etsy. Either one of these are fine. You really just want something that is compact, that they can store pretty easily, and something that has dry erase or wet erase capabilities. Next is an area of effect spell damage template. These are super useful so your DM doesn't have to awkwardly draw on the map. They could just plop this out and measure your cone of cold, which doesn't have a radius, it's a cone. But it's very easy for your DM to then measure and very quickly know whether or not your spell hit. For the newbie, just getting started, obviously the core rule books. You can buy the whole set, which includes all three plus the DM screen, which does get expensive at about $80, or you can buy them just the DMG. Alternatively, you could do the starter kit. This one, first off, has a really great adventure in it, and it includes everything you need to play for the table for $40. So it includes rules, although truncated, dice, monsters, maps, you name it. If you need it, it's in here. It's a great introduction to D&D. And finally, a DM screen, but don't buy just the generic DM screen if you're going to do this. I personally have found that most DMs already have one of those. I also find that this is probably something I would never update on my own. There are some really nice wooden DM screens out there, some handmade ones, some 3D printed ones. So if you're gonna buy your DM a DM screen and they already have one, or they are a new DM, you should look at buying something a little fancier. Obviously, if you go fancier, that means it's gonna be more expensive, especially if it's handmade or made of wood. So just keep that in mind. It can range anywhere from like $20 to $200. For the traveler, this is like the ultimate travel bag. It is a little bit more expensive, but I feel like as a DM, if I'm traveling to someone else's house, I'm gonna need room for all of these things. This bag includes room for miniatures, for dice, for books, for your rolled up map, your pens, your dry erase markers, anything that you need will probably fit in this bag. But again, a little bit more on the pricey side at about $100. There's also like a dragon scale version of this bag, which makes it look like it has like dragon scales, obviously. But that one's also a little bit more expensive at $150, but your DM would love you. I would love you. For the Dice Goblin, when in doubt, buy dice. If you have no idea what else to buy your DM, buy them some dice. They can be jumbo dice, they can be little handmade dice, they can be tiny, itty bitty dice. It doesn't matter, you can never have too many dice. But I'm a Dice Goblin, it's fine. I'm not gonna link anything about dice because if I linked my dice wish list, it would be like this video would probably be 2 hours long. Don't be like me. You can get dice sets for as little as $20 all the way up to like $200 if they're handcrafted. Etsy has a lot of handcrafted dice if you're looking for something more unique. The other thing every Dice Goblin needs is a giant dice bag, and this has been on my list for a long time because it has pockets. It has individual pockets you can put your dice in. So you can put like all your D20s together and all your D8s, and it would be super easy to grab them. So yeah, oh, I have a problem. For the DM that has it all. All right, so your DM's been doing this for 30, 40 years. They'll probably have everything they possibly could want, right? Well, there are other things you can get them aside from, you know, t-shirts and mugs and merch of that caliber. You could also get them games. There's a game called D&D Dungeon Mayhem, which I actually bought for a friend, and we played it, and it was fantastic. It was a good game, very quick, easy to learn. You also can consider other tabletop games like the starter pack for Call of Cthulhu, or you could do Starfinder, which is more of a space-themed type RPG. There's also other board games like Betrayal on House on the Hill, which also is made by Wizards, so they have a Betrayal at Baldur's Gate, which is also pretty cool and been on my wish list. But that game is super unique. Every time you play, you pretty much have a different encounter. One time my character turned into an alien and had to devour everybody before they escaped. So it's a lot of fun. There are plenty of other suggestions out there, so if you have one, leave it in the comments down below. 1, so I can add it to my wish list, but 2, so that everybody else can have a take on all of these good ideas as well and find something perfect for their DM this Christmas. I'll have another video coming out for just the players. In the meantime, you might want to check out some of these other videos that might help convince your DM to actually be a DM. Sure. That was good enough, right? I don't know.